Everybody, welcome to the very first full week of college football, live football scores here with the real Bobby Dirkens. Thank you so much for joining me. If you're brand new here, I'm glad you're here. Hit the subscribe button, turn on notifications. That really helps me out. But most of all, it actually really helps you out and lets you know when I put up my content and my thoughts on college football, and actually field some questions from all of y'all out there. So right now we have the first full week of college football. I'm looking at right now I'm watching the Ohio State Florida Atlantic game. I'm just bouncing around between games. Florida Atlantic I would expect to be a little better than losing 28-0 in the second quarter. Yeah, I know it's up in Ohio State. I know that this is a big emotional day for Ryan Day being the head coach. I mean, let's go ahead and be honest with ourselves. He was the head coach for the very first game last year. I know he was the interim, but you get what I'm saying. Have some people on here. Randy Cribbs saying hello. Notre Dame Mike's in here. I wonder who he pulls for. College football fan number one, you're on here. The real McCoy says Nebraska doesn't look bad. I think you said back, but I think you mean bad. But glad everybody's on here. Right now, Ohio State, they're up 28-0. They just fumbled the ball. And Florida Atlantic just got the ball. See what they do with it. Been bouncing around between the Florida State game. I got my buddy over here, Bobby Dirkens Jr., who's helping me out. He's helping me out right now. I'm going to give you some scores. So just in case you're out and about, maybe you're at work and for some reason you were able to turn this on. Here's some scores for you. As I said, Florida Atlantic at Ohio State in the second quarter, about a little under a minute 45 left. Ohio State's up 28-0. We have Iowa State. They're up 3-0 over Northern Iowa. Northern Iowa, I don't really know that much about them this year, but I will tell you that in years past, they've actually fielded a pretty good football team. That's also where Kurt Warner played football. Nebraska, 14-7 over South Alabama. It's kind of an interesting game there. 14-7. You would expect South Alabama not to score this early. 3 minutes left in the second quarter, and South Alabama has the ball, by the way. Some other scores for you. I'm looking through this right now, and not all of them are pulled up, but I'll have to get that pulled up. I just got Hulu TV. The reason I got Hulu TV is because the ACC network. It's not bad. I'm not going to say that it's bad. I'm just going to say that it's okay. There's a completed pass from Florida Atlantic down to about the 13-yard line. I'd like to see them put some points against Ohio State right before the half. Let's see what they do here. And I know I'm down here in the South. I'm in Greenville, South Carolina. I know it's not like I'm going to lose sleep if Ohio State sucks or if they're great. About a minute left in the game, or in the first half, excuse me. I've already been working this morning. I went and did some yard work and took care of some things, and so I would have the rest of the day to watch college football. So right now, with about 40 seconds left in the second quarter, Florida Atlantic driving on Ohio State. They're down inside about the 10-yard line of Ohio State's end of the field. Nice little timeout. So let's go and I want to look at a couple other games that are on right now and see what's going on. Boise State, Florida State right now. Florida State looking better. They are playing against a Boise State team who was picked to win their conference. They do have a true freshman, Hank Bachmeier. I just turned over here, and it looks like Boise State just intercepted the ball. Okay, they're doing a replay. Yep. It looks like a replay. Nope. They sacked James Blackman. The ball went free, and one of Boise State's linemen picked up the ball and took off running. Big old joker. Dear God, how big is he? Parker Henderson's on here, the real McCoy. Real McCoy says he's watching the Clemson replay, and ETN is still running wild. Yeah, you're right. Other night he would have had over 300 yards rushing if they didn't pull him out, and I'm glad they didn't. See where Mississippi State suspended 7 players for violating team rules. Boise State's driving down. They're down to with about 7:30 left in the second quarter. Down to about, let me go back to that. I think it was about the 35-yard line. Memphis is up on Ole Miss. Ole Miss just sucks, dear God. Like 13-0. Just want to let everybody know I do have the Super Chat open here, and I really appreciate the support that everybody's been giving me. I don't know, Bobby Dirkens might show up here in just a little bit, but Bobby says he doesn't want to be bothered while he watches football. Michael Brown says, go UNC, Bobby. I tell you this, I'm pulling for UNC. Charlotte, North Carolina is about an hour and 20 minutes from me. Parker says, although I want the ACC the ACC to win up their matchups, but to see pressure on a quarterback, basically on Parker, or not Parker, but on Blackman, that's good news basically for us. You're right. Because if Florida State, and I know it's their first game, I will give them that. But if they think it's difficult, playing against Boise State, imagine what it is against playing Clemson. Somebody just said it. Somebody must be ahead of me. You must be ahead of me in the stream. I see now what you're talking about. Boise State, a massive play down to about the 3-yard line of Florida State with 6 minutes left in the first half. Boise State has not been completely and totally anemic. I've got to see this game in pieces. I haven't got to really see it just overall, just consistently. But Boise State, man, that's a hold. And I really don't care. I really don't care about Florida State. I'm kind of like, now me, you know me, I don't care about the whole conference thing. I have a lot of people that make great arguments for it. I understand their side, and I respect their opinion. But between me and you, I'm just not a conference guy. So I'd like to see Boise State beat Florida State. I'm actually pulling for Boise State. So what does it say about your conference? I don't care what it says about my conference. When Clemson plays big teams, they beat the living piss out of them anyway. You tell me what it says about Clemson. Handoff, guy tried to flip over the line. I don't know what he was trying to do. Lee Griffith says, "May there, everyone. May there, Lee Griffith. It's good to see you." Just quick scores, some quick updates for you. For everybody who's watching, Florida State's up 24-6 with 5:30 left in the second quarter. Boise State has the ball at about the 3-yard line. In fact, it rests on the 3-yard line. Time's ticking. Hands the ball off. He's up the middle. He gets absolutely flipped at the 1-yard line. He got spun around. This year, Boise State returned 6 on the offense, 7 on the defense. They're definitely a favorite to win their conference. Michael Brown asked, what's your Duke-Alabama score prediction? I don't think Duke scores. Maybe a field goal. I think Alabama absolutely murders them. And because they're an ACC team, I think they go out of their way to really murder them. Probably 56-3. Touchdown, Boise State. Parker Henderson, you're helping me here. I appreciate it, buddy. You telling me, I guess my stream caught up. Robert Mahone just dove in there. Now it's 24-12. Go ahead and go for 2. Antoine Williams says, "May there, Bobby. The Tigers have all the upside to be undefeated again." Yeah, you're right. You're 100% right. With talent, schedule, depth, at most positions. I know there's some depth issues here and there on the defense. They kick the field goal. They hit it 24-13. Michael Brown says, "I have a Comcast, and I'm way ahead of you." It's probably already halftime now, isn't it? hate that. I hate it. It's a little slower here. Yeah, I got Hulu, and I really don't know if it deals with Hulu or if it deals with my streaming, but I'm telling you, man, it is. The other night during the Clemson game, it got a little painful. I reset everything that I could reset. I think I even went next door and reset my neighbor's internet connection. It was nuts. All right, I'm going to buzz through a couple of scores for you. Let's go back down here to the Florida Atlantic game. Vodka Drinker says, how did they get their touchdowns? To be quite transparent, I really don't know, because I did see one big long touchdown Cam Akers had on 4th down and 1. I mean, it was right up the seam. I will tell you this: Boise State has hurt themselves more than Michael Brown says off some Boise State turnovers. I have noticed a little bit of that. I did get, as I said, I've been back and forth with the game. By the way, Ohio State's up 28-3 over Florida Atlantic. Chase Duncan says I should get YouTube TV. Has the ACC? See, I had Sling, and I was happy with Sling. I was happy with it because what I'd do is I'd cut down the subscription when college football wasn't up and running and doing its thing. And then it said they wasn't going to have ACC Network, and then I got a text last night from somebody that said now they will have ACC Network. So if I really don't like this, I'll just go back to Sling. Vodka Drinker, I'm glad you're here, but my friend. It's kind of an eye turning over to the Big Ten Network, seeing Urban Meyer, Matt Leinart. I think this is Fox. This is Fox. Yeah. Seeing those guys, I mean, it's just really, really interesting. Will Brady says he believes that FSU offense is going to put up 45 at least. Maybe I will tell you this: they do look a little better. They do look a little better. Now, I will tell you this, on the other hand, I'm not taking away from Boise State. Boise State, other than shooting themselves in the foot, the times I've got to see it, because, as I said, I'm going to be forward, and that's the last time I'll say it, because I think I've said it like 5 times. That's annoying. That Boise State shot themselves in the foot. They have moved the ball at times at will against Florida State. And I'm not talking about like big, massive bomb down the field. I'm talking about marching it down the field, intermediate play, running the ball between the tackles. Very, very commanding drives. And I will say that if Florida State does make a couple of mistakes, Boise State has a great... Boise State just got back in the game. I mean, it was 24-6, now it's 24-13. And I just think that if we're going to be honest with ourselves here, they're getting better, but, you know. Real McCoy said, what do you think about Tyler Davis, true fresh D tackle for the Tigers? Looks like a baby Dexter Lawrence. We heard that in the preseason, and he does. He's a nasty football player, and that's the thing about Florida State, or not Florida State. I just flipped through Florida State. Forgive me, Clemson. Forgive me. Flip it back over to the Boise State, Florida State game. That's the thing about Clemson is how well they've recruited. They knew the days were going to. In fact, probably if they were honest, they thought that those 4 were going to leave, or at least 3 of the 4, because 3 of the 4 could have left. A bunch of you are saying touchdown Florida State, so I'm definitely behind. I want to see if I can go on forward, if there's any way I can go forward. No. Unfortunately, y'all are ahead of me, and that's it. Good for y'all, bad for me. Blackman, long pass. Wow, down the field, touchdown. You're right. Didn't second guess you. So as I'm looking at Florida State, I see a sense of confidence that you normally don't see with Florida State. I see a little more opening up and throwing the ball downfield. I'm seeing Blackman looks a little better. Now, granted, this is Boise State, but I mean, let's be honest with ourselves. Florida State has they've went out of their way in the past to look really bad. So Florida State is looking somewhat better. So somebody just asked me, am I going to watch Hunter Johnson, Northwestern, or Missouri and Kelly Bryant? Well, between you and I, Hunter Johnson, definitely I want to watch him. I know that he is having a battle with Trent Green's son, TJ Green, for the starting job, but I do think that Hunter Johnson did get the starting job from what I can remember. And even if he didn't, he'll play a lot. Kelly Bryant, I do want to see what he'll do. And I've said this in the offseason. I believe that Kelly Bryant is actually going to really help them stay in some games that they don't supposed to. Because here's the thing, and I've said this over and over and over. First of all, I think he's a really good athlete. I've had other people go, I think you're wrong. Thank you, buddy. I think you're wrong. I don't think he is a really good or an NFL talent or anything. I think that he has NFL talent, just not at the quarterback position. And that's the reason he transferred from Clemson. But I believe because even though his arm's not amazing and they're replacing a true passer, I believe that Kelly Bryant has the athleticism to keep them in some games against some lesser opponents with his legs. At games that they would normally possibly win, you would see him actually do something great. I think he could do some things, but I'm going to tell you what Bama's like when Missouri plays a team like Georgia, they're going to stack the box and they're going to make him throw on them, and that's what Bama did. And I told this story as Bobby Dirkens, but this is a true story. I did not make this up. Not this past spring game, but the spring game last year. When Kelly Bryant was still there, Trevor Lawrence had just got there. So, I mean, think about who was on the field for Clemson at this time. You had Trevor Lawrence, Hunter Johnson, Chase Bryce, and Kelly Bryant all on the same. That was the four quarterbacks at Clemson. How outrageous, right? Nuts. So I'm sitting up on the home side for the spring game, and everybody's there to see Trevor Lawrence throw his first pass. Even though it was just a glorified practice, it's the spring game. Everybody was just there. So my son and I sit down on the side of on the home side, sit beside this old redneck guy. He was true redneck, like he was real redneck. I'm country talking. He was redneck. He was sitting beside me. He and I struck up conversation. We're both Clemson fans. We're talking. And we get about, 20 minutes in, and it comes time for Kelly to come out there. Kelly comes out there and just, man, he just could not complete even easier throws. He was not completing. And Trevor had already thrown two passes, one of them for that amazing touchdown you always see where he hit, I want to say it was T. Higgins down the sideline. And I was sitting there, and me and this other guy, we'd struck up this great conversation, and I was like, well, if I was not a Clemson fan, I just came here today and you said, hey, you know nothing about Clemson. Tell me who the starter from last season was. He's on the team right now. Who is he? Who's the starter for this team? I just said, well, Lawrence or that Johnson kid, Bryce, very close. And then I would say, believe it or not, Kelly would be the third or fourth string. And I remember that guy looked at me and he said, well, you've got to remember something. And he thought he was making some great point. I'm not an offensive or a football genius, but I do have a brain enough to realize. Well, anyway, you'll see where I'm going. But somebody just said, Michael Brown said, let's be honest, he thought he was a guaranteed starter. Yeah, I think he did too. I have a comment on that. Remind me about that in just a second. But anyway, I looked at that guy, I made that comment. And he looks at me. I'm sorry, I'm rambling. He looks at me and he says, well, you got to remember, Kelly's game is a running game. So with him being quarterback, they're not going to let them run. And it was like he had enlightened me. And I looked at him, and this is right off the heels of the 24-6 loss to Alabama. Lou Patton's in here, big Texas A&M fan. Good to see you, buddy. I'm glad you're here. But I looked at him, I said, well, I tell you this, that if Clemson played Kelly Bryant, they would do exactly what Alabama did. They would stack the box, right? They would stack the box, and they would make him throw, and they would shut him down. And it pissed him off that I said that. Well, here's the truth. Here's the truth, whether you like it or not. That's exactly what they did. And Kelly Bryant, when he goes to play in the SEC, here's what's going to happen. He's going to play against some Kentuckys, and he's going to run around, and he's going to do his thing. He's going to play against South Carolinas, and he's going to run around, he's going to do his thing. And you're going to start to hear things about him. Oh, man, boy, that just shows you how talented Clemson is. But then he's going to come in, and he's going to play teams like Georgia. And Georgia, who has the talent, and they have the scheme to literally lock down on him, they're going to absolutely murder him. If you hear that bouncing noise, that's Bobby Dirkens Jr. Just jumping over and over. He's with his mom right now, so we'll let her take care of it. Florida State just scored a touchdown, which as I was talking, this had already happened. I'm not that far behind. Scored a touchdown on a fumble. They're waiting for the ruling on the field of whether it was actually a fumble. It was a backwards pass. There was a question if it was a backwards pass. Ball got tipped. Did they keep it? I don't know. Jesse Sullivan says, May there to you. I'll give you a Bobby Dirkens. I'll give you a Bobby Dirkens. May there. Amen! I just woke up half the neighborhood who was sleeping. Got a bunch of people on here. Thank you so much for joining me. And all I'm doing right now is I'm just bouncing around to a lot of the different scores. Have some people on here watching. I did want to tell you about something I'm very, very excited about. Let me see. We got Boise State. Let's see what they do. Boise State has the ball. Comes back. He is going up flipping top. Wow. Nice play. Because Florida State's up 31-13. Parker Henderson just said, before Florida State starts screaming that we're back, just realize who this team is. Yeah, you're right. You're right. You're 100% right. Florida State, I don't think Florida State's the piss bucket that they have been. Florida State's not Bobby Bowden, Florida State, or the good Jimbo Fisher days. I mean, Boise State's driving the ball downfield. Boise State is the only team who's stopping themselves. The real McCoy just bought Bobby Dirkens a beer. It says, buy Bobby a beer after a long day of killing cats. He works for the county. He's a cat exterminator. Feline. The county cleans up everything. They want to make everything sound pretty, even though it's not. But he's feline control specialist is what they call it. He just kills cats for the county. Thank you so much for that $5 buying Bobby Dirkens a beer. Thank you so much. I'll pass it along to him, and I know not to take from him, though I'm very, very, very tempted to. I won't do it because he will cut me. Question right now, who do I think is the best wide receiver in the country? Clemson. I want to talk about Clemson so much. I will tell you this, Jerry Jeudy is pretty darn fantastic. It's hard not to. He's definitely in the running, if not very close to the winner. Tiger Nation's in here. May there to you, buddy. Good to see you. We'll be going to Florida State's playing. I'm watching them right now. You will be going to see them in the next 3 or 4 weeks. Somebody says, how do you feel about Minnesota with PJ Fleck? First of all, Minnesota's a hard job. Minnesota's not a job that people's lining up to, just go jump in and coach. I mean, that's a very difficult place to coach at. Very, very difficult. I just think the thing is they're going to have to give him some time. There's some places that it's very easy to give them time, or give them like 3 years, and then they're like back contending. But there's some people, listen to me, there are some people, some teams. I'm sorry, my attention span's really bad because I'm talking to you. I saw something. Lou Patton just gave me another wonderful. He just bought Bobby Dirkens another beer. Lou Patton must be trying to get Bobby Dirkens absolutely hammered. Thank you so much, Lou Patton. I do appreciate it. Thank you so much. Appreciate the super chat. Super chat is on. You can buy Bobby Dirkens a beer. Yes, I'll pass it along to him. I won't siphon it. As I said, he will cut me. I can't even remember what I was talking about. Oh, Minnesota. Jumping back to Minnesota, Minnesota's one of those places, it might take 5, 6, 7 years. PJ Fleck, I do think that he has the ability to do it. But I will say we've seen a lot of coaches come out of like Western Michigan, Central Michigan, all that bunch of stuff, and you think that they're just going to be absolutely killer, you know what I'm saying? And they do great. And then they go and they have to coach at a school like that. We saw Butch Jones. I mean, this is a guy who recruited J.J. Watt and Antonio Brown to Central Michigan. And let's just be honest with ourselves. We saw what happened there. It's Bobby Dirkens Jr. is throwing a fit upstairs. He wants it. Whatever it is, he wants it. But when you have to go and coach at some of these schools, it's very, very difficult. We see that Butch Jones, they should have been in the college football playoff in 2016. They should have been in the Barnett, all that talent. I just don't get why they did not make it, but I do know why they make it. And that's that's one of those deals that, you step back and you look at the talent that you had and you wasted it. It doesn't make sense. Boise State's lining up for a field goal. Yeah, Florida State's just outlasting them. Here's the thing about Florida State. Florida State has the players. That's why it doesn't make sense why they went 5-7 last year. Boise State just hit the field goal. It's 31-16. They're not giving it up. It's just Florida State would. Boise State will start to get close, and then all of a sudden they're just like, boom, something crazy. Bo Weevil says he loves the show, and then I need to design a T-shirt. Keep up the good work. Well, thank you. Thank you. I sure do appreciate that, Bo Weevil. Glad you're on here. Glad everybody who stopped by watching the show right now. I've never done this before. I've never streamed while I watch football. I have a really poor attention span. Now, I'm not going to sit here and go, oh, I've got this or I've got that. You actually have to be diagnosed for that. But I will promise you that, I have a really poor attention span. I'm trying to answer everybody's questions, watch a game. I'm glad y'all asking me questions. Keep throwing on there. Lou Patton says, my Twitter account is @LouP. Lou P, I thought that I was following you on Twitter, but if I'm not, I have to do it. TJ Lee. I've known TJ Lee for years. His dad and I used to play guitar together at a church. I played bass, he played guitar. Have a very long musical history that a lot of people don't know about. I've played on commercials. I've played theater. I've played a lot of recordings. If you've ever heard of Brantley Gilbert, the country star, I played on his demo. With a song called My Kind of Party, Jason Aldean named his album after it, and did the song. So I've played a lot of stuff, but I ended up not making the move. I stayed here in town, and so I play some. Bobby sings a song about chickens that poop. You're right. I do. I do. I shocked everybody when I did that song. And the guy who mixed it is a professional recording engineer. So I recorded it here at the house. He's a good friend of mine. I sent it to him, and he actually did a professional mix on it. So if it sounds really good, that's because I had a genius work on it. I mean, see, look that pass right there, and I don't know how far behind y'all are or ahead you are, but at the 2:26 moment, they threw a pass all the way across. It was like a screen all the way across the field. And Boise State hit that. If they do that against Clemson, Clemson doesn't hit them. They pick it off and run it back. Michael Brown says he thinks Miami 52-10 over Duke. That's fair. Sheldon Ray said, what do you think about Miami and Florida game? Did a video on that, but I'll give you like the Cliff Notes version of it. You know, I understand that both those teams are in the state of Florida. I understand that it's an emotional game. I understand that a lot of those guys probably played against each other. Hold on one second. Y'all remind me, but Tim Lee is in the house. Tim Lee has an EP coming out. And let me tell you this. Tim Lee and I go way, way back. You and I have gotten into a lot of trouble together. I am so glad that you're here. I'm glad that you're here, buddy. Man, I hadn't talked to you in years. We've been on Lake Kilwee together. We've played gigs together. We've made fun of people together. We made fun of each other together. I deserved every bit of it, and you did too. I'm glad you're here, buddy. You know the real Bobby Dirkens. By the way, everyone, I'm really, really excited. I just want to put this out there. I don't know if I've mentioned it so far. We're going to 30 minutes. And my buddy Pigskin Pete down in Charleston. Let me tell you about Pigskin. Pigskin is the man. Lives down in Charleston. I hate that son of a gun because he lives down in Charleston. I want to go down there. But he will be live streaming the game for the Duke Alabama game. You need to go check him out. But here's big news. If anybody knows Volunteer Roadshow. And if you don't know him, he's a huge volunteer fan. I think he has one of the coolest channels out there. He is a truck driver who has an amazing truck. He does a show inside of his truck. He also has Billy Ratliff from, listen to me, Billy Ratliff from the National Championship Tennessee Vols. They do a show together. He started this new site. It's a lot like Rivals and so on, but I think it's better. You can start like, it's almost like Facebook for sports fans. I'm a contributor to it. We have the Clemson page, and it's called howardsrock.net. Howardsrock, there goes my accent, howardsrock.net. I just wrote an article. It's about to go up on it. I'm doing a show with Pigskin Pete. You can only access that if you're a member and you're subscribed it is a paid subscription site. You can go on there. You can watch it. We do a show once per week. We actually got it in the last week. So Pigskin Pete and I, we use the software and everything, and we go back and forth. But we actually do a live show together, and he's in Charleston, and I'm up here in Greenville, South Carolina. Great thing. Check it out, howardsrock.net. And when you check it out, it's not going to be some little pissy website. And by the way, Tiger Nate is here. Tiger Nate is on here. Tiger Nate actually wrote an article, and he has more articles coming up. Tiger Nate, I just wrote an article. I just don't think it's up on the site yet. Tiger Nate wrote a great article. He broke down the Clemson season really, really well. That's on the free side. Go check it out. You'll have a really, really good read. It just launched last week. I'm really, really honored to be a part of it. Tim Lee said, "Trouble? What trouble?" Yeah, I know. No, we didn't get into trouble. We just had a lot of fun. Dear God, those were man, that's like, I don't know. I was thinking, to think back to that now. I was like 04, 05, we were playing together all the time. Tiger Nate, you'll have to hit me up. Just ask me a question. Hit me up on, you're on Instagram, right? If you're on Instagram, send me a private message. Will you do that? Which I'm using the phone. I shoot my videos off my phone. So, send me a message. Send me a message. I might do it. I might do that. Because I had somebody offer me a ticket, and I turned them down, and then a couple of things has changed, and I might be able to go next week. Holy crap, what a great play by Boise State. I'm telling you right now, Boise State scores right here, and it's 31-23. It's 31-23 at halftime. Florida State has improved offensively, though you got to consider who they're playing against. You got to consider how many times that Boise State shot themselves in the unmentionables. But the truth is, if you're Clemson and you're sitting here watching this game and you've got Trevor Lawrence and you've got ETN, you've got Justin Ross, and you've got T. Higgins, and you've got all, I mean, I could just keep going on who we have. You're sitting here going, there is no way in a they will be holding ice capades in hell before Florida State's defense stops Clemson's offense. And I don't care who you pull for. That's quite evident. Clemson played horrible the other night. And I know they played against Georgia Tech and they're rebuilding and all this bunch of stuff. Did you see that? Dabo Swinney come off the field and he said, I can't say that we were the most dominant team on the field. He wasn't being a douche. And they won 52-14. Tiger Nate said Florida State will be a challenge this year. They'll be more of a challenge. I think they're getting better. I'll also make this prediction. I've said this in my other videos, is that if Florida State doesn't get it together, Dino Babers will be their coach in a few years. You can check that out. Got Bobby Dirkens Jr. over here. So let's see. Throws the ball up here. Does he get it? No, he dropped it.
Oh, we turn off the timers?
Yeah, you can turn that off. Somebody just told me bye. I don't know who it was. By the way, I do have Super Chat on. I'm not trying to make anybody feel obligated, but I've actually had people ask me, you mean you have Super Chat? And I didn't have Super Chat turned on until a couple of weeks ago. And they said, hey, we want you to turn it on because we'd like to, help you with your channel and everything, or, just tell you thank you. Lee Griffith says, I'd like to meet you there. Well, man, maybe, we'll just have to get together. I met Tiger Nate at the spring game. I'll tell you a funny story. Funny story now. I know Tiger Nation's, I hope Tiger Nation's still on here, but last year I received a message from Prince 6'1". Didn't know him other than just saw him on there. Lou Patton says, will you please make a video show us how you make your videos? Yeah, it's very underwhelming. Very, very underwhelming. Like right now I have a light on me. But I didn't buy this until it's been a while, like 5 months ago. So I'm growing more and more and more. A bunch of people are screaming touchdown Boise State. I hate y'all because you're ahead of me. Lou Patton says he wants to start shooting videos because he wants to help people buy him beer. Parker Henderson just bought me a beer. Thank you. Thank you, Parker. I need it. Okay, I know it's going to Bobby Dirkens. It's not going to me. Bobby Dirkens would kick me in the nads if I took away his beer. Michael Brown says, checking on the touchdown, saying touchdown now, saying the receiver might be out of bounds. Parker Henderson, thank you so much for the $5 buy. I mean, you bought me beer. Thank you. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Thank you. Have to get together soon. Hopefully, I don't know if you live in the upstate of South Carolina. Parker Henderson said, depending on the price, too. There is a grocery store literally 0.3 of a mile from my house. I can go buy really good, I mean, like the expensive beer, 2 for $4. So there's a flag now, and they're saying that it was illegal touching because the wide receiver stepped out of bounds. Bobby Dirkens Jr. has just made himself even more helpful. He has his tablet over here. He has the Ohio State game on sitting right here. I love that kid. Now Boise State's kicking a field goal, and it's 31-19. And that ends the half. It's halftime. Florida State's up 31-19 against Boise State. Their head coach, Brian Harsin, is losing his flipping mind. And he is, the reason he's losing his mind is he said, and I seen what he said there. Back a long time ago, I used to officiate football. I only did it for a little bit. I did basketball for like 11 years, high school ball. So I know some of the mechanics of this stuff. When that wide receiver steps out of bounds, from what I can remember in football, and it's been years since I've done this, I'm going to admit it. So if you're a real high school official, hadn't done it in a while, you forgive me for this. That guy steps out of bounds, his hat's supposed to come off. Not the player, but the official who has that backside pops his hat off, and it lets him know somebody stepped out of bounds. And that's what he was saying to him. Lou Patton said, did I play umpire? No, I was a linesman. I had a preseason game one time. This is great. This is a great story. There's a school down in Greenwood, South Carolina. They'd come up to Walhalla, South Carolina, which is right outside of Clemson. About 15 minutes. What was hilarious about it, this school was one of those schools to where if your grades wasn't good, but you were a good football player, they would get you to go to this school and you could get your grades better, right? So these guys were playing at this school. A bunch of questions coming into me. I want to tell you this real quick because I think you'll appreciate this. Playing this school, and there was guys who was like major D1 prospects on this team. So they're playing little old Walhalla High School, who at the time was 2A, which State of South Carolina just redid their classifications 2 years ago, and it's the dumbest, stupidest thing I've seen in a long time. Now Walhalla's like 4A. They're not 4A, and they're a pissy football team. No offense, Walhalla. I actually like Walhalla. It's a pretty place. A lot of family up there. And so anyway, long story short, they throw a pass in the back to this guy. Just a quick wide receiver goes out to the side, tosses the ball to him, and he takes off running, and he's coming towards my sideline, and I'm the linesman at this time. He cuts up the field, and a little old cornerback, I'm bigger than he is, and I'm 5'9", 175. That's my height. I'm 5'9", 175. I'm bigger than him. He come up to make the hit on this guy who was an obvious D1 prospect. And when he went to hit him, that running back who caught the ball out of the field did a spin move and slung that player all the way across into me and knocked me on my butt. I would have liked to have seen the footage of that. I mean, he cleared me out, and I wasn't that close. And I remember the coaches were picking me up, and he went down the sideline and got knocked out of bounds, and fortunately somebody else, and the head official was like, are you okay? And I wasn't. I mean, it was literally, he was so powerful, he spun that guy that far. I wasn't that close. You're supposed to keep a good angle. But I'll never forget that as long as I live. It was nuts. Pigskin Pete's in the house. I'll tell you right now, I don't know what to say. He will be covering the game at 3:30, the Duke, Alabama game, turned over to his channel. Let me tell you what this son of a gun did. First of all, he's a friend of mine. When he had the opportunity to do this HowardsRock.net deal, he called me and he said, hey, would you be a part of it? And I was like, with you and Catfish? So he's a friend of mine. Go check out. But let me tell you what he did a couple of nights ago. He did a live stream of the Clemson game, just talking about it. 18,000 views in like a blink of an eye. I'm jealous. I'm jealous, Pete. I'm just so flippin' jealous. I love working with that guy. He's hilarious. We did a show the other day. Also, he did this wonderful series during the off season. And I know the season just started and everything. You're sitting there going, "Who would I go back and go watch this?" It's because it's good content. If Bobby Dirkens here, you go, "Because I said so and I know what I'm doing." But, and Pigskin Pete says, it's because no one has the ACC network. My friend, supply and demand, one of the first lessons of project management and the supply chain. Yeah, bunch of bullcrap. Man, I'm bouncing around. Just bouncing around here. There's so many subjects I want to talk about. I was talking about just a second ago, and I got way off. So Prince 6'1" hit me up, asked me, "Hey, do you want to go to the Louisville game?" I didn't know him at the time. I'd seen him on there, but it was like, and I was like, dude, I don't know this guy. I've seen him on my board a couple of times. And so I called Pete, and Pete was like, "I'm going to the game, and Prince is great." Well, we exchanged phone numbers, and now Prince is a friend of mine. Tiger Nation went with us. And Tiger Nation is one of my first subscribers. Prince 6'1" is one of my first subscribers. And, man, it was just so, we just had such a good time, dude. I mean, you want to talk about a really, really good time. Lou Patton says, "Hey, look, I'm a Texas A&M fan. How about you and Pete have me on the show?" I don't know the logistics of that, and I'm being honest. I really don't know the logistics of the software because you got to get the software and all that. I don't know. But, I don't know. We'll have to see. But either way, we'll have to get together somehow, some way. You've been on here several times. Chops is in the house. Chops, I saw you say, "Hey," just a little bit ago. But I had all these messages going through, and I got football playing right now. They're showing Iowa and yada, yada, yada. I didn't tell you, hey, but I'll give you a Bobby Dirkens May there. How you doing? I really don't know what that is. I love watching Ole Miss lose. I just love it. It's absolutely hilarious to watch them lose. Pigskin Pete said we're going to have a great time in October. Yes, we are at the Florida State game. Florida State game. Is it just me or is that... Yeah, yes, Pigskin. Ole Miss is losing 13-0 in the third quarter to Memphis. Right now, the Sycamores are playing Les Miles, and Indiana State's playing Les Miles and Kansas State. Kansas State, who cares? Kansas. You're playing Indiana State, and you're beating Indiana State 16-3 in the second half. I mean, come on, dude. Are they really showing U.S. Open highlights on here? Hell is real, y'all. This is the stupidest thing. I don't care if Townsend defeats whatever her name is. Just look there and see what's on there, but that's not a bad game. Bobby Dirkens Jr. over here is being the best son ever. He has his tablet over here. Put on... Well, this is the... Let me see. This is Florida State game, right? Yes. Yeah. Put on that... man, I don't know. Shoot, I'm trying to figure out.
There's Indiana State, and then Florida Atlantic.
I don't know, man.
Mississippi State.
Decisions.
Indiana.
Just leave it right there for right now. Thanks, Pigskin Pete. Everybody go check him out at 3:30. He's going to do a stream for the Duke-Alabama game. Great people. I'm going to tell you right now, I started this stream almost 3 years, or this channel almost 3 years ago, and it was a total joke. and I was talking about his the great series he did in the off season called Behind the Camera, and he started off with Uncle Lou from Georgia, which he's a legend. And so he started off with Uncle Lou, had other people on, and then he called me before he even had Lou on, and he said, "Listen, I'm gonna start with Uncle Lou. Will you be the very last one, because I'd like to book in with you, because I've known you for a long time. You're a massive Clemson fan, absolutely nuts, and you're stupid enough to be Bobby Dirkens. Will you do it?" And I was like, with kind words like that, absolutely. So we shot the show last Thursday, not 3 days ago, or not 2 days ago. I'm talking about 10 days ago. I just had a root canal. Yeah, fun for Brian here. And so I did that show, and wrong Uncle Lou Patton. Though, yeah, wrong Uncle Lou. Yes, I'll tell you this. I had to have a crown put on, and I'm going to tell you what I'm about to say. You're going to be like, yeah. Lou says, "Who's Brian?" Yeah, who is Brian? I messed up there. Everybody knows my name. Everybody's blown away when they meet me for the first time, because they've sat and they've watched. Thank you. They've seen Bobby Dirkens all these years, and they meet me, and I am crazy and kind of goofy. I'm not near Dirkens. I'm sorry to bust anybody's bubble. But I would tell you, when I put the hat on, I am Dirkens. I did a video back during the South Carolina game, Tailgating for Tigers, a great YouTuber, and he doesn't YouTube that much, and he's brilliant. He's the guy who he was a Clemson fan, dressed up as a South Carolina fan, went to Williams-Brice and had them talking trash about Clemson. He's the one that does the Bama baseball SEC. Absolutely hilarious. Put out a great video this week. Actually talked to him. He's brilliant guy. Very smart in real life, which he comes off smart there too, but in real life, very intelligent cat. Very smart, and a huge Clemson fan. Massive. But I did a video with him, and I put on that black Bud Light hat, and I put on my steel-toed boots, real steel-toed boots, and I walked around the Clemson-Carolina game, and I sung to people. I sung to Gamecocks. Go ahead and pick your dookie chicken. I had family members who were scared that I was going to get punched. But before we did it, first of all, we went ahead and we told Gamecock fans, "Look, we're just a YouTube channel. We're just being stupid. Would you take it offensive if we did this?" And man, I'll have to hand it to them. They're really good. It was a great time. I mean, it was seriously a great time. Man, it was just, we had so much fun. But yeah, when I put on my hat, I am Bobby Dirkens. I'm kind of a method guy. I'm not an actor. I just have fun. I'm just being stupid. Maryland is up 56-0 at half. MCD Sports 4 is on here. Hey, buddy, I'm glad you're on here. I hadn't seen you in a while. Tiger Nate says, "Geez, McCluskey is a good coach." Auburn and Oregon tonight. I did a preseason for both of them. And one cool thing about doing a preseason deal is that you get to read over and over about these players. You get to figure out who's good other than just the people everybody knows about. I mean, everybody knows about Justin Herbert. Read up other players. But Oregon's got some really good teams. But I'm just going to sum up what I said about Oregon and them. And that is that if Oregon runs the table, but they lose today, and then they run the table from that point on, don't come crying to everybody in the country when we don't take you serious. Because I'm going to guarantee you, Auburn's losing like 3 games this year. Number 3, Georgia at Vanderbilt. A bunch of you have been asking me, what do I think about this? You know, Vanderbilt is a very difficult team to talk about because one minute they look better. One minute they look solid. I mean, you got to think Vandy played Notre Dame very, very well. Notre Dame, I know they've been overrated for years. I know they do this. I know they do. Yeah, right. The Notre Dame team for last year was a good football team. You just never know. I think Georgia by 21. But if Derek Mason has the boys ready, and they come out there and they play solid, and then you have Georgia maybe not really paying attention to the game, and they think we're Georgia and we're just going to win this because we have a top 7, top 6, top 5, the average. And I read this that in the top 15, or in the past 15 years, they've had an average of a top 7 recruiting class. That was from 247 Sports, by the way, if you want to go make sure I'm not lying to you. So Georgia always is really, really quick to tell everybody, did you see the recruiting class we had? Yeah, you have 0 national championships since 1980. I'm not talking trash. I'm stating a fact. When Clemson won their first national championship, Clemson won a national championship the first time. Do you know how many 2- and 3-star teams 2- and 3-star players they had on the team? There's some stat, and don't quote me on this, but it is legit that they were like the first team to win a national championship with so few like 4- or 5-star players. I mean, it's a crazy number. You got to remember that Kevin Dodd played at Clemson, played up at Riverside High School. And if anybody knows about anything about the upstate of South Carolina and high school football, they know that Riverside High School is notoriously a pissy football program. It's absolutely horrible. I'm not making that up. I live not too far from there. I technically live in Greer. But they're a horrible football team. Now, Greer High School is amazing. Greer High School, Troy Pride Jr., one of the fastest players in college football, plays for Notre Dame. He actually played at Greer. Lou Patton says, gotta go. Have a great day. Good seeing you, Lou. Thank you so much for the beer, by the way. Parker Henderson, let me see what you said there. Trying to come back. Trying to go back to what you just said there, my friend, because I didn't get to see it. Please forgive me. I'm trying to get back to your... Say that again, Parker, because Lee Griffith said he went to Burns. When did you go there? Was it during the years that they were really good football team or what? Because they're not as good as they were. And them Lattimore, Willie Corn years was just... I remember one game, I think, at halftime, it was like 56-0. They were playing a decent team. That's just how good they were. Graduated 89. Yeah, that's before all the good stuff started happening. Tiger Nate says he went to Malden. Football there was always awful. Yeah. Yeah, Malden had a couple of runs during the early 2000s. They had a guy played fullback for them. Huge, massive. I remember him. Only reason I don't even know him. If he ever saw this, he might think I'm weird for remember this. But his name was so peculiar. He ended up playing, I want to say, at Furman University. Ryan Funky. Yeah. Play that funky music. I better not sing the rest of that song, because if I do, I'll owe rights on this. David Lockhart said, went to UAB. Went to UAB. Wow. I know somebody who went to UAB. And then they transferred to Clemson and they quit playing football. What year did you go? Where Where's the Maryland game? I want to see the Maryland game. Ben Azaki. Yeah, go ahead and turn that on right there. I'll keep the Florida State game on the main channel. David Lockhart said 03. There's a guy I grew up with, and by the way, I haven't taught.
Maryland's winning third quarter, 65-0.
Wow. Yeah, Maryland's up 65-0. If I'm up 65-0, I'm quitting right now. Thank you, MCD Sports. And I haven't talked to this guy in years, but he was a really, really big guy. He ended up going to Clemson. Played 1 year at UAB, I want to say. His name was Tyler Fowler. But that was in like, I want to say 08, 09. Our family was friends together. He was huge. Huge son of a gun. Dear God. Garrett Sanders, Bobby Dirkens, baby! Ben Azaki says, hey, I'm hyped for the Texas game tonight. You are. You should be. A lot riding for Texas this year. See your Tiger 97 Miller says, I went to Dixie High School. Azachi. Is that right? Azachi. Like church. Azachi, forgive me. It's a Southern guy. Dixie High School, I have family. Good. And I'll probably mess it up again. You forgive me. Parker, Georgia fans tend to forget about George Rogers' phone with that. Yeah. Yeah, Tiger Nate, it's weird that Eastside has a decent team now. Very, very weird. Let's talk about Dixie High School. I actually have family. I have family at in Belton Honeypath. My cousin actually has the wreck. Well, it's probably been broken. Mid 2000, probably 04. At Honeypath Middle. I know this is stupid, but he owns the record for most rebounds in a game, most point. It was like most rebounds in a game, like most points in a half. He played football for BHP when they were good, and then he quit and started playing soccer, which he and I are still good friends today, and I still make fun of him for it. He's married and has children, so do I, and I still make fun of him for that. I'm like, what are you doing quitting BHP when they were really good? You can hear my son. He's screaming. Just overlook him. Florida State is back on the beginning of the third quarter. Blackman scrambling. He is running up the sidelines, and his big 7'9" self ran out of bounds. That's a hold. That's all right if he comes in here. Bobby Dirkens Jr. is in the house. Bobby Dirkens Jr. Come here. Come here. Come here. No, don't trip over that. Yeah, don't trip on it. Come here. Look at those people.
Is there a team you want me to look for?
Nah, I'm good, buddy.
Upper still, I can see.
There they are. See, people are saying May there. People are saying May there. Come here, Junior. Bobby Dirkens Jr. and Bobby Dirkens Jr. Bobby Dirkens Jr. turned 13 last week. And little man here, he will be 4 right before Christmas. Literally before Christmas. Actually, all the beer money donation will go towards Christmas. Yeah, was that funny? Is that funny?
Yeah.
Is Clemson your favorite team?
Yeah.
See? He knows. Would you say May there to all the good people? Say May there to them.
Maybe.
May there. He knows. So are you excited about the football season?
Yes, I am very excited.
Clemson going to win the national championship again?
Most likely, yes.
Most likely. I don't like that answer. They are. Say yes.
Yes, Clemson will definitely win the national championship.
Remember, I pay your allowance. I buy the food that you eat faster than I can get. They will win the national championship. Say yes.
Yes.
See, good answer. It's called negotiation, y'all. It's called negotiation. Got the boys here. Bobby Dirkens Jr. here is about to leave. You're about to go out and hang out with some family. And Bobby Dirkens Jr. here is going to continue to torture his mom while I'm on the live stream, and then he will go from there to torture all of us.
Most likely.
So we're seeing Florida State's already got stopped. I know some of you cats, y'all are already ahead of us. You're ahead of me right now, but Florida State is. There's just something about them that they do look better than what they did. Yeah. But at the same time, I'm not blown away by them. Vodka Drinker wants to know why you got a Panther shirt on.
Because my favorite NFL team is the Panthers.
Somebody said most likely means he's being humble. That's a good job. Thanks, Parker Henderson. You just bailed him out, and he's going to get paid this week. General Shadowman on here says, May there to you. I got the fam on here. Got some Bobby Dirkens Jr., Bobby Dirkens Jr. We're watching Florida State right now. For 1 minute, they look like they're dominant, and then little old Boise State. Yeah. They're 1 minute they look bad, and the next minute they look good. I don't know. All right, what are you doing? Dear Lord.
Trying to steal the spotlight.
He's trying to see. He's about to knock my glasses off my face. No offense. I don't know what you said, but no offense. It just makes me laugh. All right, here we go. It's just crazy. Hey. All right, so go to him. Y'all go on. I'm about to shut this sucker down. I appreciate everybody. I will be coming on later on today, just talking about. Talk about, some of our teams and what's going on. Yes, General Shadowman, Memphis is beating Ole Miss.
I'll pull up the game.
It's crazy. It's just crazy. Tiger Nate, do message me. On Instagram. All right? Ben Azachi says, Bobby, please don't leave.
I'm not saying anything.
Doll ISM says, classy Bobby.
Yeah.
I might try to stay on a little longer.
No.
Yeah. Paul Jameson is on here. Ladies and gentlemen, the biggest Buckeye in the world. May there to you, Paul Jameson. The real Bobby Dirkens is on here. He's on here. Will you do me a favor? Will you switch out this where this is plugged into to the one below it or above it? Whichever one it's not plugged into.
Okay.
Paul Jameson says, how about them Buckeyes? Well, as long as Justin Fields doesn't start feeling uncomfortable and leave, I think he'll be doing fine. I had to say that. I like you. Paul Jameson, man, he has a good thing going. He has a great show. He's out there in Metro Atlanta. I want to say Alpharetta or something like that. So I live so close to Atlanta. Don't do that. Don't step on that. Bobby Dirkens Jr. is about to take this totally... take this apart. All right, now Daddy's working on here. Don't play with that.
Memphis is not on here. I can't find it.
Live in Cumming. All right, I know Cumming. I know where Cumming, Georgia is located. But if you don't know him, you need to go check out. You need to go check him out. Hey, hold up. Stop. All right, don't do that. Sorry, had to have a parenting moment there. He's about to knock over my camera. So, nah, I'm good. Paul Jameson is the man. Paul Jameson knows Buckeye football, and that's college football. And I'm telling you this, he is just an all-around good guy. He's an all-around good fella. You can find him also on Instagram. He will be covering the Cleveland Browns a lot this year. And I'm going to tell you this, the Browns has sucked. This year, I think heaven's going to finally shine down on you, and you're going to have a chance. That's just my thought. I think that you're finally going to do something. You really, really are. So, let's kind of recap some of the scores right now. Ohio State's up 35-6 over Lane Kiffin. Lane Kiffin and the Florida Atlanticers. Iowa 10-6 over Northern Iowa. You know, if you're Matt Campbell and you're sitting out there and you're going, has my team progressed? And listen, I know Northern Iowa, they have their moments to where they're okay, they're this, they're that, and blah blah blah. Between you and I, if Northern Iowa was playing Clemson right now, or if they were playing Alabama, if they were playing Ohio State by the look of things, probably Oklahoma, if they were playing Notre Dame, they would be down by 30 points, at least. You say, so Bobby, real Bobby, why are you saying? I'm saying that Iowa State needs to get their crap together if they want to be taken seriously. You like to see your hand there, don't you?
Yeah.
He is. He is going to clip this and take this off. Parker Henderson says he lives in Roswell. Anybody up for Gate City beer? Never been there, but it sounds absolutely delightful. Paul Jameson says, this is real Bobby today. Yeah, I know.
Well,
I get the crazy guy out every now and again. I have to harness him up or else my HOA writes a letter. You know, why is he cutting grass in steel-toed boots, no shirt on, and short cut-off jeans? The other Bobby is fake. Oh, Bobby Dirkens is not fake. He is real in all of our hearts.
let's go.
I'll give you some Bobby Dirkens. So, I need the hat. Yes, son, I need the hat. For me to be Bobby Dirkens, I have to have the hat. Bobby Dirkens without the hat is not Bobby Dirkens. Have to have the hat. It's a must. It's a must. Everybody, just want to remind you as we're talking on here, and as I said, I'm about to close this down, that I am part of HowardsRock.net with Pigskin Pete and the, thank you, buddy, and the one and the only volunteer roadshow. Check it out, HowardsRock.net. Great site, just go check it out. 7-day free trial. It's wonderful, wonderful site. So, for all of you, you got to get the glasses off because Bobby Dirkens calls people in glasses 4 eyes because he thinks that's original. And he puts the hat on. And so, somebody says the hat makes your head look small. Yeah, it does, actually. Or my hair makes me, I don't know. So, here we go. So, Mr. Dirkens, what do you think about today? What do you think about Paul Jameson's on here, Bobby Dirkens? What do you have to say to him? Lord, I tell you right now, if I trust him with the keys to my house. Now, I mean, I don't know if I would trust him if, say, you know, I was $1 million, I was going to get him to, you know, oversee it, but I trust him with the keys to my house. I mean, what do you think? Do you think I'm fickle? That's a new word I've learned. Got Bobby Dirkens. Hey, what are you doing down here? Listen, you ripped your mama a new one time. Why don't you go back over there and leave me alone, rip her another one? That's clever. I'm telling you right now, Florida State thinks they're back. But until the days they're covering up God knows what, and they're stealing crab legs out of a local supermarket with it caught on camera and they get away with it, they ain't back. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it. What are you doing? Lord, you acting like a coal hang. Oh, coal hang family, that's crazy. You just take it. Hey, listen, hey, I ain't the one who pulled you up here. I ain't the one who got you to sit up here and start oohing and a-going it. I'm on here trying to entertain the masses, and what are you doing? Trying to act like a little douche. Love him to death. Here, take it. Dear Lord. Take him away. It's like wrestling a wild possum, which is very, very tough. Maryland's beating up on a little school to prove that they're back. Good job. I heard in a few weeks she can play the school of the deaf and blind and make yourself feel real good. There's only 2 teams right now. There's only 2 teams right now that are scared of Maryland. Howard and Texas. I tell you right now, after that win the other night, we played bad and still put up 52 points. I mean, come on. Come on. Paul Jameson says he wants to, Bobby Dirkens. I got to end it with Bobby Dirkens in the proper way. Lord knows you keep showing up. I'll keep showing out, Bobby Dirkens.
Look at that.
Somebody said, Coach Ed, that was Paul Jameson. Shadowman asked me if I ever been to Louisiana. No, never been to Louisiana. I'd like to go. Somebody said Iowa State is losing. Yeah, I don't doubt it, because that's what Iowa State does. They could go recruit Angels to play for them next week, and they'd blow it. A word from Ed Orgeron.
Well, this week, what we're going to do, first of all, I'm going to start off and thank Tommy Moffitt. Tommy Moffitt is one of the greatest people I've ever met in my entire life. This week, we're going to focus on New Orleans, Baton Rouge. We're going to have some low country balls. And then at that point, I'm going to thank Tommy Moffitt again. Thanks so much. I appreciate it. Have y'all got my new album where I go out and sing some of the favorite songs of yesterday and today? I've even got a gospel out. Amazing Grace. It's beautiful.
I could do that all day long, except for my voice just starts like going away. When I did that video, I had to take it in basically all of it was one take, but when I got the guitar, my guitar started falling, so I had to stop it and start over just for the song. But I had to do that in one take when I did that SEC Media Day, because it was just,
To talk like this.
it takes a lot out of you. It really does. Like after a while, you're sitting there like, I don't know why I don't have my glasses on. I can't see crap. It's one of those one of those things. Yes, Parker Henderson, he has crawfish in his back pocket.
You know, every day I go out and I take a dump. And you'd be surprised how many times I look down there and look like a low country brawl. Down there taking the doo-doo play. That's good. It is what it is.
All right, well, listen, everybody. HowardsRock.net. I'm actually a part of that now. You know, go check it out. Really, everybody, join me on here. Pigskin Pete, my good buddy, my partner in crime, he's going to be live streaming the Duke, Alabama game. You're like, Duke, Alabama? Just go watch him talk about it. It's absolutely hilarious. I appreciate all the super chats today. I appreciate all the support. Paul Jameson, go check out his channel. You say, well, I'm not a Buckeye fan. He knows exactly what he's doing. He said, go Tigers, go Buckeyes. For you, Paul, go Buckeyes for you guys until we play you. But I really, really appreciate everybody showing up here. Enjoy college football. Remember, even if it's bad college football, it's still college football. Hit the subscribe button, turn on notifications. You can catch me anytime. I will be live streaming throughout this day. I really do appreciate it. Have fun. There's no greater time to be a Clemson Tiger than right now. Catch you later, guys.